Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the 425th day of continuous Zoom session of IFPH. Before we proceed, let us have a silent prayer for 1 minute. Thank you. Today, our chief guest is Dr. Yahya, the member faculty cell of IHMA, and more than 25 years of experience in clinical practice. Well, more than that, we all know that he's a strong defender of homeopathy. We all know that he always defending and attacking the opponents. In the television discussions, we can witness tomorrow at 9:30 the Asian channel the same. Very excellent talk by Dr. Yahya, once again in favor of homeopathy and creating problems and sending shockwaves to the opposite camps. So it is attacking. The best way of defense is attack. That is the policy. We are very proud of him, Dr. Yahya. And on behalf of IFPH, I am once again welcoming you. The topic of today's presentation is the missing link, logical thinking. Yes, we all know that homeopathy is the product of the inductive logic. As Dr. Stuart Cross said, exact observation, correct interpretation, rational explanation, and scientific constructions are the steps of homeopathy, the inductive logic. But unfortunately, what happens is that the fools, in fact, the fools are leading the lands. That also happened in the world. With the world always depending or paying more attention to the financial aspects, definitely we have to succumb. The wages of sin is but death. So on behalf of IFPH, I once again welcoming Dr. Here. You can have the presentation for the next 40 minutes. Welcome, Doctor. Yes, please unmute yourself. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Manoj. Welcome. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everybody. So today, I am very thankful to the IFPH members to invite me to present a paper today in this session, in this 425th day. Actually, I was busy with so many other activities during these days. Even then, I found time to interact with you today. So I select the subject, logical thinking, which is the missing link in the homeopathic practice. So why I selected this subject is already mentioned by Dr. Manoj. Because in homeopathy, if there is no logic, there is no cure. So like other systems, we all know. So if you by heart things, you can practice. If you score high marks, you can practice. If you got a higher rank, you can practice. But in homeopathy, what we see, what about the rank holders in homeopathy? So if there is no logical thinking, they won't get good practice or they won't get good cures. So we all know palliation and suppression is possible to any fools. Palliation and suppression. Unlike homeopathy, we are standing for cure. Actually, cure is too difficult. So the practice of homeopathy is meant for the thinkers, the logical thinkers, therefore the genius of the community. Yeah. So that is the it's even though it's a credible thing, but we lack such persons in our community, and we are trying to make or we are trying to initiate such type of practice by this forum, IFPH. Since 1.5 years, we all know we are trying hard to be dealing with the arsenic album 30 or to fight against the COVID-19. As we succeeded in Kerala. So for the other lovers around the world, we succeeded in Kerala to give the homeopathic remedy, Arsenicum album 30 to the school-going students. Around 9 lakhs already registered. So it is the successful story of IFPH. So we are behind it. We are able to force the community to achieve this goal. Anyway, the government is encouraging homeopathy more than any of the time. So that is a successful story of IFPH. Again, I am very thankful to all the members behind this forum. So I am trying to narrate some of the cases in which the logical application was found. So more than collecting symptoms, only logic happened to be succeed in my practice. So even though we all know the symptom similarity is the root cause for cure. So I will take one of the symptoms wants to be carried. So we all know in the rubrics, if we see wants to be carried, so what are the remedies behind? So decide to be carried. The first remedy, everyone will think is chamomilla, as we all know. So if a patient comes with a boy or a girl, a child, so we have to observe. So the nature, how the mother or the father or bystander carries the baby. So if it is the child wants to be carried fast, we have to think of Arsenicum al. So these are the observations. So even without taking the case, we can prescribe in this single symptom alone. This is how our masters portrayed, and their successful story. When we read their case sheets, these type of observations were behind their success. So if the person carries the child and over the shoulder, so over the shoulder, Sina and Podophyllum comes the first. So the child wants to be carried over the shoulder. So if the child wants to be carried very slowly, so if the mother carries him fast or her fast, she will cry. The baby will show restlessness or irritable. So they want to be carried very slowly, pulsatilla. So we all know wants to be carried slowly. Is the first remedy is pulsatilla. If they want to be carried and soothed and recruit, and if the child wants to be carried and the baby is not ameliorated by this carrying, so shows continuous crying and shows irritability, Sina comes first. So these are the things that we have to observe when they bring the babies to our clinic. So carrying gives relief if the baby is ameliorated by this carrying. So antitaticum, antimonotataricum, chamomilla and Sina comes first. Antitat, chamomilla and Sina. And if the child wants to be bounce, we all know sepia comes first. So the symptom amelioration by exercise or physical exertion, the asthma in sepia is ameliorated by exercise. We all know sepia is the first remedy. Likewise, if the child wants to be bounced and she laughs from her, she stops or sees her crying, then you can blindly prescribe sepia in such cases. And if the baby is crying again and again, and the mother is trying to move from one room to the other room, so one room to the other room, from one bedroom to the kitchen, from kitchen to the sit out, again to the other room. So tuberculinum comes first. So these are the things to be kept in mind when a baby comes to your clinic. So here comes the logic, how we apply the logic. case taking, often we say it is an art. So here, not only if the physician works, the artist also comes to play. So I will tell a case of asthma, bronchial asthma, which was cured. So, so now he's an MD in dentistry, MDS. Actually, is now working in Saudi Arabia. So he came with sneezing and cough, and with the occasional dyspnea attack of dyspnea, breathing difficulty, and they often give arsenical, then euphrasia or allium cepa. So whenever there was an acute coryza, we often prescribe such acute remedies. And at last it was not ceased. So he was forced to take antispasmodics. So whenever I see this person, I look into him. So what all symptoms we can collect. So when actually he's a nephew of mine, and he was studying in the school nearby our house, and whenever he was very hot, he was very fond of pets, so he offered out rabbits. So he was having one or two words in his hands. So when a person,
The problem with your connectivity, some mobile phones may be.
yes. I will keep it in.
Okay. Thank you.
There was some disturbance, huh?
Now it's clear. Okay.
Yes, okay. There was a cord behind. So this boy of 14 years, actually the boy of 14 years, he was affected severely by this dyspnea. Whenever he exerts, whenever he runs around these rabbits at the evening, he will develop cough. Then immediately he will develop into bronchial dyspnea, the breathing difficulty. So this was one of the cardinal symptom which was noticed was he was very fond of citrus fruits juice. So when a guest comes, if we serve them with 5 glasses of juice, immediately he will take 1 glass and will bring the other 4 glasses to the front. So that was his nature. He was very fond of this citrus fruits. So the remedy, I think most of you have heard about these symptoms. Whenever there is disease for pets, whenever there is bronchial asthma, whenever there is warty tendency, that is psychotic tendency, whenever there is disease for or craving for unripe fruits or citrus fruits, we often think of Medornum. So here, so the Medornum was the choice of the case, and even with the 2 doses, the person, this boy was completely, he is now fully free of this attack of dyspnea. So that's a case to be thought of. I am again narrating the symptoms. So whenever there is desire for pets, you have to compare the drugs like laxasis, tuberculinum. The most important drugs, desire for pets, you have to compare with the tuberculinum and laxasis. Then comes Atusa, Calcareous, Carcinosin. So it is not in our Ken's repertory. So we have to be aware of nowadays. So even in each house you will get a pet like a cat or a dog or a bird. So now the children are very fond of pets. So you have to be of the desire for pets or craving. So Etusa sepia, this Calcareous, Carcinosin, Medornum, I already thought of Medornum, then Natramor, sepia, Silesia, Pulsatilla, Tarantula. Tarantula is one of the major remedy for desire for pets. Thuja and Physalia. So You have to bear in mind these medicines and you have to inquire about whenever there comes a person with allergy or sneezing or bronchial asthma, you have to definitely inquire about the attachment with the pets, so that you will get the remedies from this list. Then next case I am telling is a case of migraine. So I think I have already mentioned this case earlier. So a case of migraine, a girl in the 8th standard, she was studying in St. Mary's Patam school. So both the parents were officers in some of the, actually there's only one daughter for them. And so she was a very studious student. She was a very studious student, and these parents often carries her to the shopping mall. So what all things she demands, they will provide. So mostly ice creams, chocolates, so fruits. So what all she demands, they will provide. And whenever there is exam, both the parents will take leave to teach him. And she was the topper of the class. So during from the 3rd standard onwards, she was the first in the class. She was the topper. So she came with a severe headache, and she was not ameliorated with most of the analysis. So whenever even the parents were very fond of her, and they won't allow her for outside games even. So they won't allow her to take this outside games, like if there is a video, she won't be allowed to see it from from outside. That was her nature. So at that much care they took in her case. So there was an over caring of these parents. So that was the point which is made me to think of the remedy. So she was under treatment from most of the homeopaths. She was given this natramol, sepiam, glonoin, calcarea foods. Most of the remedies were tried without result. Unless this over caring by parents, so that was managed with the carcinosin, which is the first and the most important remedy you have to think whenever there is such a circumstance. You just ignore about the headache. Whenever there is over caring by parents nowadays, now we know there is in most of the houses there is a single child status in most of the houses. So this type of amazing or caring by parents is very important. We have to observe such a thing, and you have to think of carcinosin, which is the most important remedy for such a symptom. So it was managed with a single dose of carcinosin 200, and there was only after 3 or 4 months there was a relapse. Again it was repeated, and there was no further episodes afterwards. Next, about chickenpox, we all know chickenpox is a very simple disease to treat when homeopaths are considered. So I am telling about one or two cases of chickenpox. It was so complicated. So if you get a chickenpox after 2 weeks, so you can't imagine. So how a chickenpox comes to 2 weeks? Yes. So often after 1 week or within 10 days, you will be happy with the chickenpox, because most of the chickenpox will be get cured within 1 week or within 10 days. In this case, this girl actually near to my clinic, she was of 8 or 9 years, and she was affected with the chickenpox, and she was under Ayurveda treatment. because her uncle was an Ayurveda doctor, and he gave medicines for her. And after 2 weeks, what happened was there was full of ulcers, like very, very, very big ulcers. So this the mother came to my clinic and invited me to see her at home, and I hesitated actually because after 2 weeks, so I was shocked. Even after 2 weeks, the chickenpox was not cured. So what type of chickenpox it was? Because during my first year practice, I didn't see such a case. Anyway, I went to home and I was shocked after seeing her because full of ulcers, very, very big, around 1 centimeter size ulcers, which you imagine. So I was thinking of what remedy to give. We all know, often we prescribe anti-crude or rustos or variolinum or such remedies we often prescribe for pulsatilla. So in this case, I started thinking about what are the remedies, possible remedies for ulcers. So Mersol, Heparsol, these are the two possibilities came to my mind, and I prescribed Heparsol first. And I told them, so if it works within 2 days, we will proceed. Otherwise, you have to take her to the medical college. So I was in the safe side, and after 3 days, she came. The mother came with a happy face. So she started improving. So the ulcer started improving, and within 1 week, I was able to manage that case with this Heparsol. So So I never had such a case even before or after. So Heparsol comes first in that case. Then another case of chickenpox managed. So I think in most of the cases we manage chickenpox very, very safe. In the safe side, we often are in the safe side. So this case, when the patient after 1 week came to the clinic and invited me to see this chickenpox case because that was full of bleeding. So the name is hemorrhagic chickenpox. So in practice of medicine, Davidson, you will see the type of chickenpox. I think most of the doctors are not aware of such a case, such a type of case, chickenpox. Hemorrhagic chickenpox is listed even in the Davidson. So so at that time only I read this hemorrhagic chickenpox. So what to do? When I went to the house, he was lying down. The person, the boy of 14 years was lying down, and when he saw me, he just stood up, and sofa was spread with a cloth, a white cloth. It was full of blood. See, what to do? What all remedies we have to think? So immediately I called one of my senior and narrated the case. So he immediately told me, so you think of the bleeders, the bleeding remedies. Why can't you think of Crotalus horridus? So bleeding without clots. So free flow blood. So that was the scene. So I was first thinking of Crotalus in that case, and with the Crotalus, around 5 days, the person was fully cured. So hemorrhagic chickenpox. So these are the two cases with the very different. So in my practice, I never had such case. So this is a case with the chickenpox. Then I will tell another case, eruption tip of nose. So you people are aware of the eruption tip of nose. So this was narrated by actually George Vitolkas. I think I had earlier narrated this case. So it is Jittu Krishnamurthy. He was a philosopher and he was very fond of George Vitolkas. And when this Jithu had a severe itching of the tip of the nose, and he consulted most of the doctors in Calcutta, and he was not cured. Even after taking the case by the famous professors from the college, the National Institute, he was not cured. At last, when Vitolkas visited India, so they had a meeting with this Jithu Krishnamurti, and while sitting around in the in his ashramam, so there was so many goat, rabbits, then cow around this ashramam. So they started a discussion about the philosophy. They had the philosophical discussion actually. So while so he was not taking the case, just talking to this Jithu Krishnamurti. So they ordered some juice for this for the Jithu Krishnamurti, and some milk products for Vitolkas. And so he was after the discussion, Jithu told Vitolkas to prescribe a remedy for the eruption of the tip of the nose. Immediately, Vitolkas prescribed a remedy which was nothing but Ettusa. So Ettusa and the Causticum are the important remedies for eruption tip of nose. So why he prescribed Ettusa? So I already told you this disease pets. Ettusa is one of the important remedy along with the carcinosin and tuberculinum. Ettusa is one of the most important remedy. In this ashramam, there was full of pets, and this Jithu Krishnamurti was fond of pets. So that was the observation by Vitolkas. Then he while discussing, he ordered a juice for Jithu and milk product for Vitolkas. So that was another observation. So we all are aware of aversion to milk is a remedy, is a symptom of Ettusa again. So aversion to milk, which will precipitate diarrhea. So that was also observed by Vitolkas in this case. See how prescription goes behind. So with this dose of Ettusa, with the 1 or 2 doses of Ettusa, this very chronic skin eruption was fully managed. So that was written in one of the journals by Vitolkas actually. So again, the logical thinking comes to the mind. Okay. So we all know when we think of the time management, what is our understanding about the time? So when we see the repertory, morning is narrated in the most of the repertories. So from what time to what time? Morning is, what is the definition of morning? So everyone have to be aware of this narration from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. That is the morning when we think of the symptoms of the drugs. If there is a morning aggravation, if there is a morning amelioration, you have to in inverted commas 6 to 9. What about the forenoon? Forenoon is 9 to 12. So we all are aware. Forenoon is before noon time, before 12. So 9 to 12. What about noon? If there is noon aggravation, often we think of 12 o'clock. From 12 to 1. So if you see the synthesis repertory, it is well described. So 12 to 1 is noon. Noon aggravation is for 1 hour. What about afternoon? Afternoon is it up to 4 o'clock? From 1 to 4? No. 1 to 6 is considered as the afternoon time. 1 to 6 p.m. 1 to 6 p.m. is afternoon. What about evening? we often uh, think of evening as 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. So when a European invite you to come to the house for evening, that means from 6 to 10 p.m. 6 to 10 p.m. is considered as evening. So up to 10 p.m. is evening. So then comes at last the night, which is 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So this is a very, very important thing to bear in mind by all the homeopaths. So evening is 6 to 10 p.m. and night is from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So that is again our application of logic. So we all know whenever there's crying of babies, what all possibilities are there for crying of babies? So this defecation is one thing, 1 point. Urination, micturition is 1 point. Where if the baby is hungry, that is another point. If the baby is thirsty, another point. If there is excess heat, the baby will cry. If there is excess cold, again the baby will cry. If there is light, excess light, the baby will be frightened if there is excess light. So while seeing a tube light, sometimes the babies cries. So we are not aware. If we are not aware of such type of crying, if you give acarate or a chamomile or senna, what will be the fate? So we have to apply your logic in these situations. If the mother is away from a baby, so this is company or this is someone behind or someone nearby, that is another symptom of babies. So again, if the mother comes nearby, the baby will stop crying. So that also we bear in mind. Then in my practice, I had a case while traveling in the train. The baby was crying like anything, and and when they removed all the ornaments, the baby immediately stopped crying. Actually, the chain around her was injuring her. So that was the reason for the crying in that case. So see, so sometimes this excess hot, excess heat, excess cold, the light, everything, even some bites of insects. If a mosquito bites a baby, and whenever you see there won't be any mosquito nearby. So that also that we have to observe. We have to check whether there is any bite marks in the babies.
Excuse me, doctor, your mobile phone again.
Yes.
Doctor, yeah, your mobile phone again.
Stop.
There is some more disturbances.
Yes, I will switch off my phone so that we see. Okay, because so many calls today. So I will tell a case of a friend of mine in the engineering college. He was doing in his PhD, and there was an exam fund. He was completely exhausted while studying. So what is the possibility? With the picric acid, he was managed. Picric acid. So whenever there is overexertion of mind, so during exams, most of the children, when they come to the clinic during exam time, you have to think of picric acid, because the studious persons during exam time, if they develop this fainting or a headache or a weakness, you have to think of picric acid. Yes. So I will give a case as a mental exercise. So the Kerala people or the Tamil Nadu people can immediately tell the person a person, a patient, she was an anarchist. So he was not accepting any rulers, never accepts the authority. So she was a dictatorial. This person is very dictatorial. She was haughty, a very lavish person, very greedy person with a love of power. This person is very revengeful, with extravagance. So with the egoism, a very jealous person. She was very jealous, and at the same time, this person was a coward. So, can you portray the person and can you portray the drug? This is an exercise for you. So we often see politicians. This was a very important politician, an anarchist, was a dictatorial, he was a haughty person with a very greedy and lavish, with a love of power, and she was revengeful with the extravagance, and she was egotic and jealousy. At the same time, because she was a coward, because I think most of you are aware of this person. The remedy was lycopodium. Actually, the remedy of choice is lycopodium. When we repetize these symptoms, you will get lycopodium. So Jayalalitha. So this was the symptoms behind her. So if Jayalalitha comes to you, you have to prescribe lycopodium, because I think I was telling she was a coward because she often wears bulletproof. So a person like Jayalalitha wearing bulletproof, even to see simple persons, she will never attend the public without such type of precaution. Without such type of precaution, she never attends the public. Okay. It's the time, so you have to tell Manoj, we have to tell the time, because I switch off my phone.
Yes, it is now 8:37.
Okay.
If you want to continue, you can. Otherwise, you can have discussion as you like. Your choice.
I'll tell one more case. So she was one of my junior. She was now an assistant professor in one of the colleges. I'm not telling her name. So after delivery, she came to the father came to my clinic. So after 2 months, and he was telling, my daughter is in a panic situation, and we are about to consult a psychologist, a psychiatrist, because there is mood variation in her after delivery. So we often call it as puerperal mania. So I never had such a case actually. So he was a friend of mine, and he was very sad. And this is the first time with such a symptoms she was showing. Whenever I see her, she was often crying. Sometimes she was laughing. Sometimes she was very much affectionate to this her baby. Often she takes care of her baby and or feeding her. But in other time, immediately she will shift. So the just opposite of the symptoms, like she never take care of the baby, and she never feeds her, and even she was thinking of to kill her baby. See, so what to do? Puerperal mania, where we often think of the gynecologist diagnosis as a puerperal mania, sepia or pulsatilla or such remedies. So I know if we prescribe sepia or pulsatilla, it won't work. So you have to consider the mental symptoms. So I am stimulating again you to think. Puerperal mania with such a symptom of yes, I know. So some of the persons will answer. Anyway, one commanding and the other forbids. One commanding and the other forbids. So that was the symptom of choice, because she was very fond of her baby one time, and the next hour she will turn to the opposite side. So she was about to kill her baby. So one commanding and the other forbids. Everybody is aware of the remedy, anacardium. So anacardium one I gave. So now she is a very brilliant assistant professor in one of the Homeopathy colleges. Anyway, she was fully recovered from her mania. The whole family was very happy. The homeopathy helped her in such a situation without consulting the psychiatrist. So with this, I am winding up my narration, and again, so many cases to tell. Again, we will have some discussion, and in between, I will tell some of the cases. Please, Manoj.
Yes, doctor, you can continue in other sessions, successive sessions later. Very interesting and impressing on through the original tracks of homeopathy. It's very happy to hear from Dr. Yahya, the new generation homeopathic physician. Now, those who would like to participate in the discussion can go to the participant list and raise your hand. Meanwhile, I think there are 3 medicines given by Dr. Ramangal Patel in his art of case taking for preventing the separation. One is heparin, the other one is mercury, and the third one is Alicia. If my memory is correct. The art of case taking by Dr. R.P. Patel. Now, Dr. Kamal Shah raises hand. Yes, Dr. Kamal Shah, please.
Thank you, Dr. Manoj. Assalamualaikum, Dr. Yahya. I would like to ask you about the patient who was an artist, very dictatorial, lavish and greedy, and you gave him a lycopodium, right?
Pardon, again, please.
The patient whom you gave lycopodium, the one who has jealousy and coward, what was the potency that you used?
Actually, it was not a patient of mine. So I was just narrating a symptom of one of the famous politician.
I see.
So
okay.
Yes. Because it was a mental exercise for the doctors. Because you had to think of such symptoms while seeing such personalities.
I see.
So actually,
okay. And what about the anacardium case?
Anacardium, yes. Tell me.
What potency?
Potency.
So what potency? It was 1 amp. Because whenever you are damn sure of the case, you have to go for high potency. That is my policy. If you're damn sure, go for 10 amp or 1 amp. It will work. So if you are in doubt, so think of 200 or 30. So so most of the mental cases you have to go for high potency.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Yahya.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum.
Yes. Anyway,
On your unmuted, Manoj, please unmute.
thank you, Dr. Kamal Shah, for your participation. You are not in the scene for the last couple of months. What happened, I don't know. Anyway, thank you. I think the case, okay, the hemorrhagic chicken box, very remarkable on the Patalas Butterpulli. Is a really marvelous case of discussion by Dr. Yahya. Then another medicine, I think the examination fund for the excessive mental work. Sabadilla is a medicine. After excessive reading or writing, Sabadilla. Then the mental exertion as well as physical exertion, Supramet is another medicine. Then Singamet can have the brain fat that can also help the patient. Definitely.
Comparison, yes. For comparison, we can have for comparison such remedies.
And what about the last case where the crocus sativus from greatest similarity to deepest despondency? What is the possibility of that medicine there? The anacardine case you gave.
Anacardium.
That case, is it crocus is another medicine of choice? Crocus sativus.
Crocus sativus for hysterical tendency. Yes.
Major mood shifting from greatest hilarity to deepest despondency.
Even ignitia you can consider. These all remedies for comparison.
Yes,
Because when we compare remedies, the hysterical remedies we can consider.
yes.
But this after delivery, so it was a puerperal anyway. It was diagnosed by the gynecologist itself, and so the drug of choice was anacardium, and it worked. So there is no doubt in that. So that is the reason why I was not thinking of other remedies. You can compare such remedies.
Yes. Then another thing you have described about the crying babies of different causes was excellent one. The analytical mind of a homeopathic physician. Well, that gives you advantage discussions with the opponents. Yesterday I witnessed a clipping from you, the Asian channel, Merkuner program. The homeopaths there were analytical and they can defend everyone wonderfully. Yes,
they are afraid of actually for the channel discussion now. The modern medicine people are afraid of homeopaths. That I saw yesterday because the person who was about to attend escaped yesterday. Actually, it was Dr. Sulfi he was assigned to attend the program, so he escaped yesterday, and the pediatrician was assigned, and he was telling. So it was unfortunate to be here. That pediatrician was telling at last.
Yes, he's in the pediatric mind. That is a problem. There are other. In fact, all allopers are the pediatrics in the pediatric mind. They don't have the analytical mind. They just have
Even
the oven baby. That's the problem.
Even now that a video came against our pediatrician Dr. Serin, and now the Mr. Sajan Skaria from Mardar called me. So he was telling so many calls after this video. Even Dr. Lal called him. So why Sajan Skaria you did such a big thing? So he was moreover, this is this lad was telling like anything. So why you did such a harm to that pediatrician? Because it was after this today the Shajas career called me 5 times after this video because of such a pressure from allopathic fraternity to him.
Yes. More than human beings, they want some other things, money. Then another important aspect you described about the time modalities, the time description in the repertory. It's very remarkable and that is definitely guides the physicians to manage the case well.
Most of our doctors are not aware of that time modality actually. Yes. That is why I told it. That's why I took that subject.
Then another thing to be considered is the diet of mother in case of the disease of children. In case of, I think there was a case given by Ken. The child develops diarrhea, and at last Dr. Ken gave him the Argentine nitricum. Since the mother taking a lot of sugar, 1 pound of sugar per day, I think that case was described in the lesser writings. So on that information, he gave Argentine nitricum, and the child was rescued. So that is another important aspect when treating the cases, the dietary regimen of mother, then the mental conditions, the domestic conditions are all to be considered there. Those who are willing to participate in discussion can have the participate, raise the hand. Then another discussion there by, I think, Dr. Nash. He says that nobody is not what the child wants, but the homeopathic physician does. It wanted also chamomile. What a nice description. The child was crying in a public function. He's crying and crying. Nobody knows what the child wants. But it wanted a dose of chamomile. Nice description of kids. My simple appeal is that every physician must go through the cane repeatedly, reading and reading. Definitely.
Everyone have to read the materiality of Kender, because so I will tell another case narrated by Kender. I'm not telling the drug first. So he was in charge of an orphanage. Ken was in charge of an orphanage. Around 50 to 70 orphans were there in that orphanage, and he was losing daily one or two child at that time. So, so most of the children were of a marasmic nature with severe diarrhea. So he was telling in that drug. So unless he found this drug, he was able to save after giving this drug. He was able to save most all the children. So he was telling in that drug, all the children after clandestine coition. Most of the children came there after clandestine coition. Most of them were orphans, and they were forced to lie down over the floor because no one to take care of those children. So their occiput was actually, after lying continuously over the floor, the occiput actually, we all know what is the nature of the occiput. In these children, there was a gut, there was a sinking in projection actually. So that is we see in that drug. We all know the drug is
Macar.
Macar.
Children, yes.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, Kerala is leading to now such a state. A lot of cases are there in the Kudathai cases. So many cases are there. There is no one to look after children. That is the main problem now we are facing, isn't it?
Yes. So how beautifully he is telling cases, and if we narrate such cases, there is no need to read the drug then.
Yes. There is another discussion, I think. Those who have come to the adult age without ever learning what obedience means. What a description. I think most is the medicine. Those who have come to their adult age without ever learning what obedience means. It's a grand generalization.
Yes.
Unfortunately, our participants are, I think they are not at all listening to what we are telling about. Then I think you can have another case of doctor here. We have enough time. Another 5 minutes remaining.
I will tell another case. So I often ask about this ideal time for treating ladies. I often ask to the students, what is the ideal time to treat the women? So most of the doctors are even unaware the time to treat the women. If you read Kent, definitely you will tell the answer. So the ideal time to treat the women, when I ask to the students, they will tell during menstrual time, during this puberty. These are the answers we often get. Actually, it is during pregnancy. During pregnancy is the ideal time to treat women. So why during pregnancy? We all know during pregnancy, actually pregnancy is a natural process. So there is no need of any symptoms during pregnancy. So why these women develop symptoms like hypertension, diabetes, or edema, or vomiting, or this sleeplessness, anxiety, fear, so albuminuria. So what all symptoms you can tell during pregnancy, they will develop such and such symptoms. Why they develop such symptoms? So Ken was beautifully narrating. So why they develop such symptoms? So it is the hidden sora during pregnancy will come to the forefront. So the suppressor symptoms will come to the forefront, or the hereditary tendencies will come to the forefront. So that is why these women develop symptoms, and you will get most of the symptoms during pregnancy. And if you can give a remedy, a constitutional remedy with these symptoms, definitely you will have a very healthy baby with a normal delivery. So there will be normal delivery, there will be normal pregnancy, there will be you can block most of the hereditary tendencies like bronchial asthma, cancer, tuberculosis. So this is how we have to manage pregnancy. So every homeopath have to start prescribing during pregnancy. When others force the patients or the women to stop treating, so we have to initiate treating. So that should be the policy of homeopaths. Okay, any other questions, please?
I think
So-
that the idea is just given by Dr. Henman, the organ of medicine, the footnote, the most suitable time for administration of medicine. The pregnancy never gives it's a contraindication, but we should give the medicine because on that the increased vitality will always bring the symptoms out. That is the reason why he advises give the medicine, so antipsychotic medicine, so that the future citizens of the world can live a more healthy and happy life. That is the discussion we give.
Yes.
Yes. There's a major important advantage of homeopathy when others are afraid of or even hesitating give medicines or the medical aid to a suffering woman during pregnancy. We can have the medicine with confidence. That will not only relieve the mother but also the baby. It's a great advantage. I think it is up to the people who has to use this great advantage given by the gift of God and homeopathy. That is up to their duty, not our duty.
Yes.
Then again, the sucklings never receive medicine is another thing. Don't give medicines to the child, but sucklings never receive medicine instead of the wet nurse or mother. Then it act more quickly, beneficially, and mildly. These are three conditions for behind mind. It will act more quick, more beneficial, more mildly. So three type of actions when you prescribe the medicine to the nursing woman or mother. That's an important suggestion given in Hahnemann, the chronic diseases. I think it was given the footnote of organ of medicine also.
Yeah.
I think we have to wind up. There is nobody is now raising. Yes, Dr. Hariharan Narayanan. Anyway, we have to wind up at 9 o'clock. Dr. Hariharan Narayanan, please unmute. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, audible. Yes.
Yes. Tell me.
Dr. Yahya, I heard your class. It is nice, very nice. I think you are following without class. Is it so?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. Very good. And your narration regarding lycopodium is very, very correct. Very, very correct. Okay. See, your subject is logic in homeopathy symptoms. That is a very good subject. See, sometimes we will be puzzled with the certain symptoms. You know, about 10 years back, for the information you doctors, I like to narrate that symptom. What is that is a young girl child, about 5 years old, with the parents came to my dispensary, and parents put the child on the open side of my clinic, and they entered my clinic and tell the symptom. What is that is, you know, that child will sometimes show the exact performance of Thiking. Exact performance of Thiking. fucking at that is coercion, and action of coercion, and finally, when she will become tired, she naturally go to sleep, and when awaking, she don't know nothing, and she's a child also, about 5 years old. 5 years old. That is the complaint. What is the logic behind it? Can you say? Can you hear me?
Yes, I heard. It can be an illusion. Sometimes during bedtime, he might have seen such activity because most of the babies are lying with the parents. So that can be the reason sometimes. If there is no such a possibility, then so in our Metribrica, there are such symptoms. So masturbation in babies or
Yes.
it's such a
Before medicine like
sexual thinking in babies. So such symptoms are described in the
Yes.
repertories of Metribrica. So
Yes.
that.
Yes, doctor. In fact, these are explained by Hanuman in his first edition of our 17th aphorism, footnote of 17th aphorism. Then he later removed that because the peoples are not in a position to understand what it is. So please read that aphorism 70 in the first edition. The preface was there. Not in the preface, in the appendix it was attached. Now it is time to wind up the session. I think I would like to invite Mr. Kamal Shah to say the vote of thanks. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Manoj. It's been a pleasure to hear you, Dr. Yahya, tonight. A wonderful session. A lot of new information for me, of course. And I hope we can have more sessions like this in the future, of course. And what you have narrated to us tonight is very, what shall I say? It's an enlightenment. It's an enlightenment to us, especially when you say about 6 to 9 o'clock in the morning is morning, forenoon, noon, afternoon, evening, night. You give such a wonderful presentation tonight, and I hope to see you again. And thank you very much for your session. Thank you all for participating in our session tonight, and thank you, Dr. Manoj.